Hey, welcome back to Screen Time. I'm your host, Josh. Jared, we implemented a no jacket policy.
Can't wait to hear the context for that.
So, this is my co-host, Jared.
There comes a time when you have a chance to do the right thing. I love those moments. I like to wave at them as they pass by.
Well, yeah. Can't wait to find out what that's from.
Yeah.
All right. So today we are going to cover The Bear, season 3, episode 8.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, we're going to do a little bit of what we've been watching. But before we get into that, just want to say next week is our 1-year anniversary. And so we'll be dropping a little special episode about that. So if you have any thoughts or feedback or questions you'd like us to discuss, because it's going to be a little bit more informal type of stuff that we're going to do, hit us up. You can email feedback@screentimepod.com or leave a comment or send us a DM, and and we'll add it into next week's episode.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right.
We're going to have a whole questions segment. So
yeah. And a few other fun things.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe introduce a whole new segment.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Getting crazy.
Yep. We'll see. And unless everyone hates it, we'll get a bunch of comments, and then, and then
we'll have more engagement than we have now.
So actually, we won't stop either way. Yeah. Whether you like it or not. It's a new segment. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what have you been watching? What have we been watching?
You probably have a longer list than me.
All right. Well, I'll start with something. I'll start with something that you watched some, and maybe you.
Okay.
Bad Monkey on Apple TV Plus. So now I know you had watched the first episode, I think last week, but they dropped to 2. So assuming you've watched the second one since then.
Nope.
Oh, he hasn't even watched the second one. Oh.
Yeah, I figured you probably had me now.
Okay, yeah. Well then,
no, you can talk about it.
Well, no, I wasn't going to spoil anything really. But we'll mention.
If you talk about it, it's fine. I will watch it soon. It's not a big deal if you spoil anything the second episode.
So far, really loving the show.
Mm-hmm.
I see what you're saying. Vince Vaughn's kind of dialed it back a little bit, but
that's my biggest problem.
Well, I like it. I feel like it's it kind of fits more of this character. Like, it's this guy that's been a seasoned detective. Like, I don't think he would be such a goofball. Like, I mean, he is still a goofball, but like,
no, that's true. It's like wasting Vince Vaughn potential, Well, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah, because of the character.
I wanted to, like, the style I wrote down, sunny noir is what this feels like, because it feels kind of like a noir detective show. In some ways, it's kind of in the way it kind of pacing some.
Well, it's the voiceover too, isn't it?
And then with the voiceover, yeah. But then it's very like warm and sunny, kind of, because it takes place in South Florida, the Keys / Miami. And so, but I'm really digging the visual style, but it kind of goes for that, where it's kind of got the little bit more contrasty that like a noir would have, but then it's very kind of a little bit more warm, punchy colors instead of being more muted because of the location.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I asked you about that last week, and I was curious because I thought the visuals were like really vibrant and like crisp, I think is the word I used, which I didn't like. That's why I was like, once you watched it, to let me know, because I think I also said maybe it has to do with the color grading. I'm not sure, but I really like the visuals in it for sure. I also really like I'm forgetting your character's name now because I've only watched the first episode, and that was a week ago. The one he keeps talking to, well, in the first episode at least, in the is it in the morgue or is it? Yes.
Okay. Yes. The morgue. There's the lady who works at the morgue.
Yeah. I like her a lot.
Or that's right. Cause she does the autopsies.
Yes. She does autopsies. Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. Whatever that actress, I don't actually know what her name is because I don't think I've ever seen her in anything else.
I don't think I have either.
Yeah, she's good, and she continues to be a good character in the second episode. Actually, I mean Michelle Monaghan, however you say it.
Yeah,
She's good. Honestly, like
she is.
kind of like. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen her play that kind of a little more manic, whatever.
Yeah, she's always like very like sweet,
Yeah,
kind of more reserved
Yeah.
character. Yeah, and that's
Kind of like it.
yeah, it's very different in this.
So I will say, this is not a spoiler per se. Watch the previously on.
When I'm going into episode 2, watch
Yes.
okay.
Because they did something that I like and clever. I mean, like if everybody did it would be, but like I thought it was interesting and I like what they're doing.
Okay.
The previously on. And it's just a little different, something different, a little clever. So, all right, what's something you've been watching?
I did watch Pearl now, the second movie in the Ty West trilogy.
Okay.
This is the one that's set, I think I said last time it's in the 50s. It's not. It's even before that. I don't think they actually say the time period. But I was mentioning this trilogy is all kind of Ty West, kind of homaging different decades of cinema, like the way he shoots them, the way it looks, a lot with the score too, which I'm definitely going to mention in this. So the first movie was very 70s slasher type of. I compared to Texas Chainsaw because I was amazed you've never seen the original.
I'm not a horror guy.
I know. That's what you said last time. And I said it doesn't matter. You can still watch that. I'm not a horror guy either normally, and I'm watching 3 technically now, this trilogy. But they're different. They're not typical in that genre. But anyway, the first one, which was called X, was 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Also took place in the 70s. This one didn't say the year of it, but it's very... Let me see. I got a note of this. Especially with the visuals and the cinematography in this. It's very vibrant, very saturated, like a lot of films from like, I would say right when they switched to color.
Okay.
From black and white. You know what I'm talking about? So that style. The score, really great and very much of that era, which I love that they did that too.
I think sometimes it's referred to as Technicolor.
Technicolor, yeah. There you go. I wonder if that's... I don't know, it'd be interesting to see behind the scenes and see if he did anything with like old cameras or lenses or a specific type of film for it. I don't know. Yeah, the movie was interesting. It's actually a prequel to like the main kind of old lady in the first movie. This is like her. Again, though, all 3 of these movies I've mentioned last time, Mia Goth is the main actress, and she is in all 3 of these. And I want to shout her out again because I don't know. Have you seen her in anything?
Don't know that I have. I don't know.
Okay.
What else she in
I think
besides
she's
these
in
films that I don't have?
This trilogy is what kind of got her big, but I think she's in other stuff now. But anyway, I want to shout her out with this movie especially because the very last shot of this movie, I was blown away by, like actually going into the credits, because and the way they even did this was very much of the time too, where they have kind of whether it's something in the background or a still shot, and then the credits come up. You know, there's score. It's a very old Hollywood thing to do.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of have like the dots.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly what they did, which I love. But I'm not spoiling what happens, but it ends on a shot of her just smiling at the camera. And so it's a close-up of her face. I want to say it's almost 3 minutes long. So then the credits start going. And it's still her face. And she's smiling. And it goes from like this really big smile to her like scared and then crying in a 3-minute period. And it's obviously has to be a one take. Like it's because it's going over it. I was like, this is crazy that she did this. Like I was very impressed by it.
Mm.
It's a really cool way to end the movie.
Yeah, that
So-
sounds fascinating.
It is.
Sounds cool.
So you could just look that up. Just watch that last scene if you don't want to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then like I said, the magazine's out on VOD now. I don't know if it's streaming yet, but that's the trilogy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's 80s, right?
That's 80s, and so I'm about to start that. So yeah. Anyway, check them out.
Cool.
What else you got? I only got one other thing. So
All right. Well, I can do a few things for you. Well, Emily in Paris season 4 started this past week.
I'm amazed that you watch this.
Oh, this is great. So
Is it?
it is.
Okay.
It is. It is.
Okay.
It is. I will say it is. I love things set in Europe, and it is
Yeah.
filmed in location.
Nice.
Um,
So she is in fact in Paris.
yeah,
Okay. Still in Paris in season
which is
4.
one of the reasons why I watched the Warrior Nun on Netflix, even though that's
Yeah.
actually because partly what captured my attention was again it was like obviously shot on location in Europe, and the visuals are just cool.
Was it in Portugal?
I don't know if they shot anything in Portugal.
Okay.
The lead actress is from Portugal.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
Because you kept recommending that show to me, and then I think I talked about it in this pod a while back that I finally watched it. And I was like, yeah, this is actually good.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it ends up being better because the first half of that season 1, or maybe not first half, first couple of episodes, it does feel more like almost like a teen drama, right?
That's why I didn't want to watch it originally.
Yeah, and so the only reason I was watching it, like in the beginning, I was like visually.
Did you watch those shows?
Well, I do watch those kind of shows, but like more, it was
No,
also
yeah, the
interesting.
visuals,
Was
yeah.
visually, I was like, this is cool that the locations are set in.
Yeah.
Anyway, Emily in Paris is the same situation in that.
Okay.
She works at a marketing firm, and that's even why she ends up in Paris, because her big marketing firm agency in the U.S. buys a small agency in Europe, in Paris, and then they send her as like the liaison. So that's the premise of like the first episode.
This is
season 1.
Lily Collins, right? The actress.
Yes. Which I
Shout
never.
out Phil Collins' daughter.
Okay. Didn't even know that.
Really? Yeah.
Well,
that's
because
her.
I've never seen her in anything else other than the show.
Oh no, she's been in.
I'm sure she
Yeah.
has. I've never. So for those two reasons, I find it fascinating in general, like that, like
Okay.
this stuff, because it's like the stuff that they do, other than the like goofy relationship stuff, or whatever that happens, and just the kind of there's the awkward silliness of like her personality and stuff, but the the things they have to pull off, and the thing they do pitches, they do like, so it's like if Mad Men was like more comedy and set in Europe and had a woman lead that was got more into like female kind of drama interested instead of the male stuff, and yeah, so like
Okay.
and of course present day and not but
Yeah.
yeah, so those are the reasons I find it interesting, and then like the drama stuff's the drama stuff, but I don't mind
Yeah.
that stuff. I enjoy that stuff. So, and it's done well enough because it is done more comedic, right? Like it's like because she's just like an awkward person, like in the general sense. So yeah,
So is it still good 4 seasons in?
I think it's as good as it. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I don't think it's the great. Like it's as good as it was from the beginning. So if you've enjoyed it in the beginning, you probably should still be enjoying it.
Okay.
So yeah, watched 2 episodes. There's only 5 because it's Netflix doing a part 1 and part 2. Part 2 comes out in September. Doing their
classic Netflix
like,
now.
like yeah, well, got to keep subscribed. Got to spread those popular.
Because everyone is getting rid of Netflix because it's so expensive and they don't have that great of stuff now. So they got to do something.
Yeah, I'll do one more and then I'll throw it back to you till I do. All right, so then I just want to. Well, first, my quote is from Industry, season 3, episode 2, because we talked about it a little last week, but I just wanted to shout the show out again because the second episode's phenomenal, so good. Has Kit Harington in the season, and he's in a little bit in episode 1, but this episode 2, like he's in it in this, and there's some great scenes in this, like with him, and from even two different characters and interacting with him. And but then also the quote is from his assistant that I did up the front.
Okay.
He the situation where he needed to change his shirt, he had to go speak to the board of the company he runs. He's a CEO, and like something happened to his shirt, and he's like, "Oh, do we have a jacket around?" She's like, "Sir, you implemented a no jacket policy," because he's got like this like trendy like feeling like that. And then he's like, "Oh, and he like cussed or whatever." I don't know. just it was the whole dynamic there. It was just funny. It was funny, and so I wrote it down. But all right, so what have you been watching? Some other stuff.
This is a continuation from last week? I think. Going through the Pirates movies.
All right. Yes.
So I watched the first one, and now I just watched the second one, which is Dead Man's Chest. Pirates. Did we ever
chest like in chest of gold, or chest is in like chest?
You could interpret it either way.
Okay.
With this movie, actually. But did we ever land on Caribbean? Because that's why I didn't want to say the full title of this, because
I think in these films I've always heard it Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
But then lots of people refer to the
like if you're going to the Caribbeans, right?
So I don't know if it's the same word and they're saying it differently, or if it's different ways the word's being used. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So I am going to watch, there's 5 of these. I am going to watch all 5 because I think I've only seen 3.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I saw the second one. Don't remember because I feel like the first one I saw at least twice, maybe 3 times, because it was good. I remember it being, and then of course the second one, I remember probably watching that one, but I really don't remember it now. But
maybe it'll remind you when I talk a little bit about it. But
I vaguely remember because Penelope Cruz ends up in one of them, right?
Yeah, it's later.
But like I think I maybe just saw the trailer. I just remember like being like, oh,
I don't think I saw the movie she was in.
Yeah,
so yeah,
I think they just changed. I was like, oh, yeah, I don't think I saw that movie either.
Yeah, I wonder if, because we talked about the cast of this, it's the main actress in this is Keira Knightley, so maybe Penelope Cruz replaces her. Yeah,
later.
That would make sense. I'm not sure though. But this movie is
Keira Knightley anything lately.
I haven't either, but she is awesome in this.
Yeah, with that
Pride and Prejudice.
Pride and Prejudice, yeah. Like she had a streak there where she was, but yeah.
In like the 2000s, yeah, it's like kind of the main, because Pride and Prejudice was mid 2000s, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, this was 2006. The first Pirates was 2003. The next one, because I looked it up, this trilogy, because I was mentioning the first 3 are all the same director. So it's like he did that, and then I imagine those are the good ones, and then 4 and 5, we'll see how they are.
And then they only did 5.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I feel like there was probably like 10.
I thought there was way more. I know, but then when you were mentioning like maybe they're doing like we've heard stuff recently about like reboot or
yeah
whatever else, but
legacy what are they? There's a word for
there's
that.
A word for it. Yep, because that's what they're always doing now.
Yeah,
like with Romulus, which I can't. I need to watch Romulus. I'm very excited.
I've heard good things.
I'm very excited for that movie. I love the Alien franchise. And Ridley Scott, I think, signed off on it, which that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Dead Man's Chest. This is also on Disney. I'll just mention, I mean, it's Pirates. It's all on Disney. All 5. Second and third act of this movie, really great. This one actually started off a little slow, which I don't remember. Because again, I think it's been probably 10 years at least since I've seen this movie. Second, third act, really great though. This is the one with Davy Jones is the main villain.
Okay.
Do you remember this? Well, actually, I'll go into it because I said in the first Pirates movie, I was surprised how good the CG looked in it for 2003, even though a lot of it is practical.
Mm-hmm.
It all looked really great. This one, way more CG. Still some practical, but the CG in this looked incredible. And then I looked it up. It won Best Visuals this year in 2006. And it's for the character Davy Jones. And I'm sure you've seen it because actually I actually saw on YouTube a lot of people break down this scene. Like visual effects wise, and just how good it is, and still holds up. And I saw it when I was seeing it because he's like this. I mean, his face is like this, like octopus type.
I remember.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. And there's so much going on like that they had to do because I never saw the behind the scenes. I don't remember the actor that played him, but and then his whole crew is like different kind of looking creatures like that too. So there's so much going on, but it just looks so good. It is so expressive, which I was just really impressed with. Also, this one is Hans Zimmer doing the score. Incredible, especially the Davy Jones theme.
Legend.
Yeah. Still a legend. Like, still just putting out the best thing ever, like Dune Part 2.
Yes.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I will say, I'm assuming this one and the next one they filmed back to back because this was 2006 and the next one's 2007.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like they did the first ones. I guess it did well, and they're like, all right, we're doing 2 and 3 back to back. So I'm interested in how third one's going to go. It's at World's End. I don't remember it as much.
I don't even know if I ever saw it.
See, so it's been interesting going through these. So I'm gonna probably talk about it next week if I do go through them and see how they how the downfall of them is. I don't know, but so far that this one was really, really great. Also, just like the first one. So that's my 2 things. That's it.
Okay, cool. Well, the other things I've got down, after inspired by finishing up House of the Dragon, started a rewatch on Game of Thrones.
Nice.
Pacing it 1 episode a week just to like take my time. I want to note, because I remember it's like one of those things where it'd been so long since I watched it. I remember visually it bothering me the early seasons.
This is what I was going to ask. Yeah, I wanted to ask you
So what it is, I think the biggest thing, there's 2 things. A lot of the camera work, as far as the composition and camera movement, is very just like almost like
it's like a soap opera
basic,
or drama.
Basic TV.
Okay.
It's like soap opera. And then it's the lighting.
Really?
The lighting is, it's like, so there's
Did they have a low budget for season 1? Maybe
it doesn't matter. Like it's about the placement of the lighting. Really, honestly, like so. What you would, and I use quotes here, cinematic lighting is when the light is opposite camera for your key light, right? And then that gives, so the shadow side of the face or shadow side of the subject is facing the camera. And then if you do the opposite where you put the light camera side, then you have like what you would consider more like front lighting. It's like very like flat lighting because you don't get the texture and depth you get from the shadows that the light creates from being opposite camera. You just don't see the shadows. This, at least the pilot episode, almost all shot camera facing light. So everything's just like overly flat and lit.
Okay.
And it's so bad.
Yeah.
Like, and it's crazy because like you look at everything else and I'm like, the production value and the costumes and all that stuff is there. It's there. But because it's lit so bad.
Okay. Then that makes sense why you were saying that's what gives it
and then the other
drama or soap opera feel.
And then the other combination is like, then like some of the camera placing, especially on the wider shots, are very like things are center framed instead of being like, hey, let's make it interesting by like moving stuff into the bottom of the frame or top frame, like just things like that. Like a perfect example, what we were talking about, and it's different episodes, but like we were just talking about Hangover Part 3.
Yeah.
And that shot I was talking about where they're chasing Zach Galifianakis in the desert and they frame it so that like they're just at the bottom and it's like and there's like so much sky and that makes it interesting.
Yeah.
And yet if you put that centered and just framed in the center, like you're like, oh, it's just basic. And that's what this is. Like you can, and if you pay attention to that stuff, you see that if you rewatch this, like those are the differences. Or like when, again, some of the scenes where people are under trees and stuff, and and then it's like they're like so bright and lit, and you're like, where's the?
But they're under a tree, which doesn't make sense.
Just like, anyway, so besides that, though, I mean, story wise and acting wise and those things, like, it's fantastic and holds up, but like that stuff, I knew there was something that bothered me about it, but it was so long ago that I watched it, I couldn't remember and articulate. So now rewatching it, I can.
I want to ask you something about this because it's been a while since I've rewatched Game of Thrones. But how is the very opening shot? Because I remember it being so sick, but I don't know if it holds up now. Still, beyond the wall,
the opening scene,
very beginning,
those scenes, it's all right.
Okay,
yeah,
not as great anymore.
No.
Not
and
as
even and even like the quick flash of what you do see for the White Walker,
right?
It's like
they look so different than they do later, right?
Because and you're like, yeah, that's because it looks so good later,
right? Yeah,
that you're just So it's
they were still trying to figure out how they wanted to, I guess, visualize the White Walkers, but okay. I remember loving that opening scene, so that's a bummer. It's not,
I mean, it's okay.
It's still interesting. It just doesn't look as good.
I think. Again, right. It's like if you took the same script, same people, and they redid it, you would be like, oh, it's fantastic. Because like the ideas are there, the plot is there, the reveal of like what's going on and creating the tension of like those guys figuring out because they thought they were just following some raiders or whatever, I can't remember, and then finding the White Walkers. Like that's all works well. But yeah, it's just. It's just okay now. It's not bad. It's not terrible. It's just
also I want to say the cliffhanger at the end of episode 1 is like all time.
Episode 1. Oh right.
Yeah. Yes. Like that's like I don't know if we should say it since I'm sure everyone's seen
it's like
Game
10
of
years
Thrones.
old or more or whatever it is.
I'm sure everyone's seen it and knows what we're talking about, but
yeah, we don't need to say it, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Like that is a brilliant way to start a season and start end the first episode. Yeah.
For sure. And then another rewatch thing.
Doing a lot of rewatches?
just trying to we'll just fill in and it was needed a new comedy to just kind of watch. Schitt's Creek.
Okay.
Rewatching it. I forgot how brilliantly that the acting in that, like Catherine O'Hare and Eugene Levy and even Dan Levy and what's her name that plays the daughter.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah. Just their characters are they're so good at this. Especially Catherine O'Hare, like her playing that character. That's so great. And the writing's like so good, like just nuanced and like there's so much there even from the beginning that you just don't even realize unless you've watched it before. And still hilarious. Like it's so hilarious.
I agree with you, but I agree with you with the actors and how they do in the show is great, especially them two, the mom and the dad. But and I know what everyone tells me, like, oh, I'll just keep going with it. But like I watched the first couple a while back, never saw it before, and I couldn't get into it. But I know a lot of people love it. Yeah.
And I was with you.
Yeah.
I did the same thing because like we're in the first season was on like Netflix. I tried watching it and I was like, I just can't.
Yeah. And
I watched like an episode or two and then came back to it later. I don't know when. And then finally just like, it's like one of those things where enough people tell you, or you hear enough people say this is good. And you're like, okay, I should give it another chance. And so then you kind of push through a little bit more. And then I remember being like, oh, this is good. Like once I kind of watched enough. And then I remember then going back and watching it all with him having, I think, Robin watch it and, and because then eventually I was watching it when the seasons were coming out, but I don't remember which ones, but I think it was like at least 2 seasons on Netflix when I first watched it.
I remember it was a show that was on some really weird channel
Canadian
originally.
channel. Yeah.
And like it didn't get popular till
Yeah.
got on Netflix. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's Canadian produced.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because they're all Canadian actors.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so
If you get anything wrong, YouTube will tell you. The comments will tell you.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, you should give it another chance. You should.
Everyone tells me.
You should. You should.
I will one day.
Yeah.
It's just there's too many things right now I need to
do it.
There's too many things. Next on my list is I need to finish Foundation.
Because, okay.
It's
I'll give you a pass then until you do that. That's for sure.
Because I mean, it's
season 3 is gonna be coming out at some point.
I know, and we had our argument about what is real sci-fi, and that's real sci-fi.
I agree. That is sci-fi,
which is which is like my absolute favorite. And we don't get a lot of shows like that, so like I love Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
I just have not finished the second season.
Okay. So speaking of sci-fi,
okay,
couple news little sections that they talk about.
All right.
Dark Matter renewed for season 3 or season 2 officially.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How's that gonna work?
I don't know.
Did they not cover everything?
I don't know.
The book?
All I know is I saw the announcement officially renewed for season 2.
Okay.
Then Acolyte canceled.
I did see that. Probably for the best.
Yes, I agree.
Even though I'm sad we're not going to get Darth Plagueis.
Yeah, or saying Yoda back then because he was teased at the end. It's always fun.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get Plagueis in something else, but also hopefully that actor that played, forgetting his name now, because he was incredible in it. Like he was the one we kept mentioning when we were covering it, how good he was. Hopefully that character will live on in something else.
Yeah, for sure.
What's his name? Kamir. That was his name. Yeah.
And then there's something else that I didn't write down. I was like, oh, it reminded me when we were talking earlier, but I can't remember. The still watching You're the Worst also, and that's fun.
Still good?
I think so. I like it.
Yeah, I got to give that one a go.
I think you should try that. You like it.
Like I said, I love that actress.
Yeah,
specifically her.
Is she in other things that you've seen, or just from Storefront?
She was in another comedy that already got canceled, which I'm kind of bummed by because it was like, I don't think anyone watched it, but it was called Welcome to Flatch. And it was like it was like a office documentary type comedy. Okay. She was one of the main girls in it, and Sean William Scott was actually in it, which I thought was great.
Wow.
Kind of the two main people were like people we never heard of, but they were kind of like supporting characters. And it was like I think it was like the middle of nowhere, Ohio, like very small population town that they just like, this documentary crew were just there, like, and there's just different things happen in this town. But actually that was pretty funny. Anyway, but she was in that. Already got canceled though. Yeah. Someone like Fox or something. It was.
How long ago?
No, actually Hulu. It was Hulu. But I don't know if it was originally on a major network first before Hulu. I want to say 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was that after You're the Worst, or was it before?
After, because like I said, I think they finished that show, because you said you weren't sure if they were going to do more seasons of You're the Worst. Like I think that show finished even before she was on The Boys.
It might. I don't know. I mean, I just know there's more than one. There's like a couple seasons of it. But
yeah.
Cool.
We'll see. I guess maybe we'll talk about it next week when we do our anniversary pod, but there's quite a few things coming up this year.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, like kind of stacked. I was surprised how much stuff is coming.
The fall is going to be full.
Mm-hmm.
It's a busy fall for TV or streaming, whatever you want to consider it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's streaming. It's like Do we watch anything on ABC or NBC?
Or Fox or
Fox, yeah.
CBS.
Yeah.
Does anybody watch CBS?
Apparently someone does because they still make those shows.
Yeah. All right. Want to talk about The Bear?
Mm-hmm.
The Bear, Season 3, Episode 8, Ice Chips. Sugar finds support in an unexpected place.
Why'd you say her name like that?
Why not?
It's like the same thing when we were covering Sugar the show.
Sugar.
It was like that. Oh no, because we covered that and we did No Country, and that was Anton Chigurh. I remember you were saying that differently too. And then it's the Acolyte also.
Acolyte.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to, keep you on your toes.
I appreciate it. I think some people probably watch these on YouTube just to see how you're going to pronounce things.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I can entertain.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your...
Don't ever change, Josh.
Not planning on it.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on this episode? What did you think of this episode?
Some really great dialogue moments.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I didn't like the decision being for the whole episode to basically take place just be Nat waiting to give birth. Like, not even her birth, right? Like, pretty much the whole episode was just that. Didn't really like that aspect about it, but some good dialogue moments though.
Yes.
What about you?
Yeah, kind of same. I mean, so I think, some interesting moments. I said, amazing performance from Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, I have a note about that. Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, kind of boring and just nothing happens. Because like you said, don't even have a birth. There's no birth. Just, yeah.
I thought that would at least end the episode. But no.
All right, well, let's get into some notes on this episode. My first note, F and C folds.
Yep.
Thought that was funny.
That was it, yeah.
She's
carryover from last episode.
She's driving in the car. She's frustrated. No one's answering their phone. She's calling everyone. And then she's just under her breath. F and C folds, because that's why she even had to go out. Why she's stuck in traffic trying to get to the hospital.
Yeah. That was my first note, is that, to your point, is it is wild that she ends up driving herself to the hospital.
Yeah.
In her condition. Because she couldn't get a hold of, her mom finally meets her there, but still, crazy.
Yeah. The traffic stuff, that was done well.
It was. The claustrophobia.
And the editing.
I really feel that.
Yeah, that was done really well. Like how the metal music plays as she calls her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I want to say, I don't know if it was that or if it was over the title of the bear when that shows up, but I want to say it was a refused track. The band refused, because I noticed I recognize the song, and I don't know if that's the one you're mentioning or thinking about.
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, I love that song though.
Yeah,
I love that band.
Cool.
Or am I thinking? I don't know. I'm probably thinking of the last. No, it was over where it cuts to and says the bear. Yeah. Anyway.
It's probably the same song. It just started when she called and then called her mom. So then mom enters the scene and their dialogue just in the parking lot is so good. So good. Performance as well. Because
and it continues to be good even
but
later.
that just the from the start.
Yeah.
And like I said, Jamie Lee Curtis, yeah, just even like the physical acting that she's doing and stuff, and like, but also to the what's her name that plays
Nat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the actress's name.
Yeah,
but
she like to stand her own in those scenes.
Yeah.
Like she does great.
Because I think she's one from the show that I don't know if she's even been in anything else. Like I've never seen her in anything else until this show.
But yeah.
Yeah, my note about Jamie Lee Curtis, I mean, we all know she's such a great actor anyway, but her character specifically in this is just so good, and we know that from like the incredible episode in last season.
Yes.
Just how like insane like everything she goes through in that episode. But it's just it's her personality that she's playing in this, because I mean it's a really real type of person.
Mm-hmm.
And she does it so well. And I noticed, which kind of what you were just talking about, I noticed she does a lot, which I noticed especially in this episode, she does a lot of acting with her face, like little small things.
Mm-hmm.
That was really great. And
yeah, the physicality, like I said, it's in her face, but it's also even just the way she would squirm in the chair and like refix like her, and just the stuff she was doing, and just the things she was doing, so fantastic. It like just really embodies like those type of people, because like, you know, I've met people like that, like don't have family members I'd say that fit that role, though. Like I could see if you really had like a mom or like a aunt or uncle kind of fitting that role, that sometimes it's like it'd be hard to watch, because you know bring you back the anxiety that they bring, you know, in the real life, which I think is a little bit what this show historically has always done well. Like I know season 1, a lot of people who had been in the food service industry were like, yeah, that's hard to watch, because that is how it is. Like it's that intense and anxiety, you know, inducing. And so, you know,
you don't want to come home from work, that's your job, relax on the couch and put on the bear. Yeah.
And I think this is another example of that, and some of the flashback episodes where the family dynamics have been even in other seasons. And I think it's like, luckily I didn't experience any of that like firsthand in my upbringing, or, you know, those things but it seems so real, and real characters, and she's just a real person in this. And
yeah, it's like I mean, like when they first are in their room in the hospital, like you think about that situation that they're in right there with the two of them, and her mother, Jamie Lee Curtis, like whatever's happening, the type of personality she is just, no matter the situation, like she keeps bringing it back to herself. And there are a lot of people, like there's people like that, and she does it so well. And it, like you said, it is a really real realization of that character, or like a very good portrayal of someone that's like that. And I mean, it's even more, I guess, personal when it's your mom, right? And all that's done really well. And like we've praised the bear before, where they just, everything feels so real and natural in this show. They do a great job with that.
Yeah, because she keeps trying to, the different nurses and things that are in there, she's always talking to him and telling stories about herself and how she walked to the hospital when she was pregnant or whatever. Yeah. And so to that point, I think they do such a good job of making her feel like a real character and everything, so that when her husband shows up and Donna is her name, right? Donna is kind of like just moved out.
Just slips out, yeah.
Yeah. You feel bad for her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, for them to do that and kind of create
after
that,
portraying her
like so terribly in other previous episodes, and then even in this, like, there's still those moments where you're like, oh yeah, she's a terrible mom in general, but then she had some redeeming moments in this enough that, like, then by the time that happens, you're like, oh, she's gonna go, and like she's not gonna be there for the moment, like, right.
Yep.
Anyway, I just thought that was, you have that feeling when you're watching it, and then you're like, oh, good job, you got me the like,
For sure.
you get,
Well, even the shot that they end the episode on with her and with
the fact brewers.
yeah.
Yeah, I had a note about those guys kind of coming back, but yeah, you're right.
My only other note is more of a cinematography thing, but I really loved when they're still just them two in the room together, just the extreme close-up shots of their faces back and forth. That's where obviously I really noticed Jamie Lee Curtis, the way she's acting with, like, and just like certain things in her face. But I thought that was really good because of their dialogue in that scene and how good it was anyway. Like, I think it really emphasized it with doing those extreme close-up shots of both of them.
Yeah, I agree. And then it was funny though, because the widest it ever got in there was not that wide.
Yeah.
Which then made me think, oh, this is just a corner of a set, and they put a bed, like, because you never really see the hospital room. Like, you don't really see the room.
Yeah.
It's just a hospital bed.
But then they would still have to go to a hospital at least to film the ending. But yeah, for the most of the episode,
yeah.
For the room at least, yeah, it could just be a set.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, just like a little corner or wall and a chair and a couple props on the wall of, like,
although, but like at that point, like, why would you do that? Because then after she leaves, we see her in the hallway also. So it's like, just film it all at a, if you got to do these other scenes too. But you're right, it could have been just a set for that majority. But
I mean, maybe it was intentional, maybe it wasn't on the set, but like, it just felt like, oh, the reason we're not pulling out anymore, because they like never show like a 3-person shot where like the nurses, but yet they'll show over to them. It's like real close to what they're doing on the machines, and they're like there enough to see their face like kind of react to like what Donna is telling them, and that's like all you kind of see of that. And so I don't know, those are just things I was thinking about when I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is but and then I just said like, you feel bad, and then like, he kind of brings that feeling full circle with then her sitting in the lobby, and then the Fack brothers kind of, and they're endearing to her because they're like, it's almost like she's like a mom to them too, right?
It is, yeah.
And then they sit down and kind of can kind of hang out with her, and thought, it's like a nice moment. And then again, like, you're feeling this nice moment for this person who up to this point you thought was terrible.
It's a good moment, but it's still, like I said up top, it's like, oh, this is the end of it. Like, this is really the end of the episode.
Oh yeah.
Like that, I was kind of bummed by.
Well, I kind of at that point, I mean, I knew, because we
you kind of feel it.
You're so long with them that it's like they're not going to anything else. It's just going to be this. And then like, again, my final note on this one is like, still feels like it's dragging things out, and this is another that instance of that being that, hey, we're just gonna hang out here for 20 some minutes with Donna and Nat in a hospital bed and have them talk and interact and talk about how she's got her father's butt. And like,
though, like, it's, if like, because our main biggest actors, obviously Jamie Lee Curtis aside, but our main biggest actors, none of them were in this episode. So like, I guess this is be good for like shooting wise. Like, they could just knock out this episode if, Jeremy Allen White and Eben Moss Bacharach. I know all these names. Ayo Adebiri is Sydney. Yeah. So at least those three, which they're all pretty pretty big now. I mean, they were some of them before this even, but
Right.
it was awesome seeing Richie in Andor.
Yes.
I was rewatching that and I forgot he was in a few episodes of that.
Yeah, he's in like 3 episodes. Yeah.
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 It's another thing I need to get back to.
Yeah.
Because that should come out
Next year.
like early next year, probably.
No, they'll space it out.
Oh, and right, because we have Skeleton Crew now.
Skeleton Crew is like
Yeah.
dropping December or early or no.
I just feel like it's been done for a long time. Season 2 of
I
Andor.
don't know. I mean, I know who was it? One actress that's in it. Is it the girl that plays his like friend from the Homeworld? I think that actress. She mentioned like season 2.
Is it the girl from Hitman?
Yes. Season 2 is
Adria Arjona, something like that.
she's gonna be, or it's gonna be, you knew it was gonna be good. She's like, but it's gonna be even better than season 1. And she's like, and it's really gonna, they say it's gonna give Rogue One like a recontextualize Rogue One as a film for you.
That's crazy.
And I believe it
Oh yeah.
with the level of writing and stuff in season 1.
Yeah.
I believe it. Anyway, but we're talking about the Bay Area.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So
It's like most of the season though. And we have 2 more episodes, but
yeah,
a lot of it, like you said, you can really feel what they decide to do with dragging it out.
yeah, feels like
2
it.
seasons, yeah.
Really feels like it. So we will I guess wrap this up next week. We're gonna wrap this up next week.
Just watch the last 2.
9 and 10.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's because then we got Rings of Power.
Yeah, we're gonna do Rings of Power. We got all of our anniversary
stuff to do next week. So once again, 1 year anniversary next week. If you've got thoughts, questions, input,
comments, concerns.
yeah, write in feedback@screentimepod.com. You can email or you can leave a comment on this video or any of the other videos, or you can DM us. My Instagram is @jyoungbar.
And I'm at Jared Youngbar.
All right, and we'll catch you guys next time.